It's 2 a.m. You're staring at the ceiling, and your brain has decided, for no reason at all, to replay something you said 11 years ago, a comment at a dinner table. A joke that didn't land. You cringe. Your whole body tenses. But here's the strange part. That moment cannot hurt you anymore. It's over. It happened once, and it will never happen again. So why does your mind keep hitting replay? You'd think evolution would have solved this by now. You'd think a brain built to keep you alive would let go of the harmless stuff and focus on the real threats. Lions, cliffs, poisonous berries. Instead, it clings to the embarrassing email you sent in 2015. That doesn't feel like a design flaw. It feels like a design choice, and it is. Psychologists have a name for this. It's called rumination, the tendency to replay a negative event over and over, searching for a different outcome that will never come. But rumination isn't random. It's a leftover survival tool, and understanding where it came from changes how it feels. Picture your ancestors 10,000 years ago. They lived in small groups, maybe 30 or 40 people, and their survival depended entirely on those relationships. If you embarrassed yourself in front of the tribe, that wasn't just awkward, it was dangerous. Reputation determined who shared food with you, who defended you, who mated with you. A single social mistake could get you exiled. And exile, back then, usually meant death. So the brain built an alarm system. Anytime you did something that risked your standing in the group, a part of your mind flagged it as urgent. Not urgent like a fire. Urgent like a splinter that keeps sending pain signals until you finally notice it's still there. The psychologist Roy Baumeister studied this exact pattern and found that negative events carry far more psychological weight than positive ones. He called it the negativity bias, and it shows up everywhere. One insult outweighs 5 compliments. One mistake outweighs a decade of competence. Your brain isn't broken, it's just old. It's still running code, written for a world that no longer exists. Here's where it gets stranger. The replaying itself isn't just memory, it's rehearsal. Your brain treats rumination like a fire drill. Every time you replay the mistake, it's quietly asking, what should you do differently next time? The neuroscientist Rebecca Sachs found that the brain's default mode network, the system active when you're not focused on a task, spends much of its idle time running exactly these kinds of social simulations. Your mind isn't wasting time at 2 a.m. It thinks it's training you. But there's a catch. Training only works if there's a next time to apply the lesson to. When the event is 11 years old, there's nothing left to fix. The simulation runs anyway. The alarm doesn't know the danger has passed. It just knows the flag was raised, and flags, once raised, don't lower themselves easily. This is where the story takes a modern turn. Your ancestors lived in tribes of 30 people. You live in a world of billions, connected through screens, watched by algorithms, exposed to more social feedback in a single day than they experienced in a lifetime. Every like is data. Every silence after a message feels like a verdict. Your ancient alarm system, built for tiny groups and rare embarrassments, is now firing constantly, because it was never built for this much input. The psychologist Susan Nolan Hoeksema spent decades researching rumination and found something important. It isn't the difficult moment itself that causes the most damage. It's the replaying. People who ruminate report higher rates of anxiety and depression, not because more bad things happen to them, but because their minds refuse to close the loop. The event ends, the processing doesn't. So what do you do with an alarm that won't stop ringing for a danger that no longer exists? You can't just tell it to be quiet. Willpower rarely wins against a system this old. But you can change what you do when it fires. Instead of asking, why did I do that, which keeps the loop spinning, you can ask, what does this tell me, which gives the loop somewhere to land. One question replays the wound, the other closes the file. Think about the last mistake that still bothers you. Really think about it. Chances are, it wasn't dangerous. It didn't threaten your survival. It didn't get you exiled from anything. It just embarrassed you, briefly, in front of people who have almost certainly forgotten it by now. Your brain kept the alarm running long after the actual threat expired because it still thinks it's protecting your place in the tribe. It is, in a strange way. It's just protecting a tribe that no longer decides whether you eat tomorrow. That doesn't mean the discomfort isn't real. It means the discomfort is old. It's a signal built for a world of 30 people, now running inside a life connected to millions. The mistake you can't stop thinking about isn't proof that something is wrong with you. It's proof that something ancient inside you is still trying to keep you safe, using the only method it has ever known. So tonight, when it's 2 a.m. again, and your brain pulls out that same old memory, you don't have to fight it. You can just recognize it for what it is. Not a punishment, not evidence, just an alarm, ringing for a danger that left a long time ago, still hoping you'll notice before it's too late.